Do we exist? Sounds like a stupid question, or maybe an over-serious question, and it kind of is. But it seems like a pretty good place to start when you're trying to do philosophy. You know, Heidegger says that we are with something. Being only makes sense when there's something else that makes us specifically engaged in the world. When you hold something, when you hold someone. Even the enterprise of philosophical investigation for Heidegger is effectively a act of being. It's not just there. In fact, being is this sort of singularly inaccessible thing. It needs material. But at the same time, that materiality only understands itself in the context of some being, which makes use of it. In the case of the human being, we're being there. We're material entities that have to be somewhere in order for everything to make sense, both for us and for us to make sense for everything else. And Heidegger doesn't treat these relations like metaphysical relations. It's not like the relationship. It's not like the relationship. It's not like the relationship between a tree and a bush, or a tree and the sun. It's more about the activity of the use, the engagement. If you don't have the engagement, there isn't a relation, which means the relations are not a priori, they're not essential. They're only essential, in Heidegger's sense, if you take being to be as fundamental. And then, yes, there is a relationship, fundamentally, through the cross of being between a tree and the sun, insofar as the sun is the light being, to the photosynthetic being that is the tree. And Heidegger was very, very good at understanding these relationships and understanding the engaged relationships of reality, the engaged material relationships of reality. Recall, for him, it has nothing to do with what's really there. What's really there for him is being, but being isn't accessible because it's everywhere. And when we build epistemologies, when we build knowledge, for Heidegger, we're doing so from an engaged position. We're materializing a given epistemology through the relations that we create in a material arrangement. If you do not have those material arrangements, you do not have the engagement, and therefore you don't have the epistemology. It's a very bright day, even though today was daylight savings, in Canada at least. And the sun is very warm, even though it's very cold. But it's getting spring-like. I know that Heidegger thinks that I am. I know that he probably would reject a great deal about specifications of being that are too individualized, even too human. I think he wouldn't see the point of them. They're not really meaningfully material. We overestimate ourselves, we underestimate others. The howling wind destroys all good videos. Doesn't really contribute much. That's kind of the point. I'm just trying to make this video because I suppose this is a kind of Dasein, or a kind of Mitsein. This camera, filming myself. I don't think it makes me be, but for Heidegger it makes something of me be. There is some being at work. Of course, Heidegger was never really satisfied with the idea that you could ever fully describe it. Remember, you get the ground of being, but you can't fully describe it. So in some sense, you're never fully in being.